starting the first lesson, let us see the question paper once so that we come to know how the question paper is given and what kind of preparation is required, what level of attention is required. Okay, these all things you will know only when you analyze the question paper. So let us make analysis of the question paper so that we understand things better, right? One thing is quite clear. In the subjects of EIS and SM, never expect one-line questions, one-liners. One-liner questions are never given. That is point number one. Always questions will be asked in a scenario-based model or in a conceptual model. That is what you need to understand. I think you might have seen the same trend in other question papers also, but that is very much followed in the subjects of EIS and SM. That is point number one. So that is the reason you should properly follow the material given to you. The biggest problem is many of you don't know how to use the material. For example, a dictionary is there. Do you think that everyone knows how to use the dictionary? No. Using the dictionary or referring the dictionary does not mean just simply finding out the word and its meaning. No, that is not the way. There are a lot of things that you can learn from a dictionary. You can know the parts of speech of the word. You can know the pronunciation of the word. You can know uses of the word. You can know the syllable stress of the word. All these things you can know if you have a perfect dictionary in your hand. I'm not talking about mini dictionary, pocket dictionary or little dictionary, compact dictionaries. I'm not talking about that. But if you have a very good dictionary like Oxford Advanced Learners or Cambridge or Merriam-Webster or Chambers, if you have this kind of dictionaries of perfect edition, then from a single word you can know all these things. That is given in the dictionary. But most of us, what we do? We only find the word and know its meaning, that's all. And we are not bothered about how we pronounce the word, the syllable stress of the word, the parts of speech, in what way the meaning will be when you use it as a verb, what will be the meaning if you use it as a noun, what will be the meaning if you use it as an adjective. The same word, the meaning of the word changes depending on your usage. If you use it as a verb, it will have a different context. If you use it as an adjective, it will have a different context. So these all things you can know. And same is the case with Masterminds material also. Many students, what they do? Simply read the answer. But there are a lot of things that you can find in the material. In some questions, we will give some sentences in italics. What does that mean? Many students don't know, and they are not bothered about it. Question is there, answer is there. You just read it, that's all. And how much you remember? Only to that extent you write in the examination. Why I am telling you all these things means, if you look at the standards of question paper, it is not so easy to tackle. It requires right tools in your hand. If your enemy is strong, you need to have right strategy and right tools to handle the enemy, to tackle the enemy. The same is the case here. So anyway, let us start with the first question. In section A, the first question is, presently the flow of information is at an unimaginable high speed for doing any business, and need of information is perceived at various levels of hierarchy. With these objectives in focus, define enterprise information system and categories of business processes. So this question is from the chapter Business Process Automation and its Risks. This is one chapter in our syllabus called as business process automation and its risks. So this question is from that particular chapter, asking you to define about what is an enterprise information system and categories of business process. Now, while looking at this question, many of you may misconstrue. So, what the word I have used? You may have a misconstrued meaning. That is, what is there? Finally, we have to write two definitions. One is enterprise information system and second one is categories of business process. But the above two lines are given. Presently, the flow of information is at an unimaginable high speed for doing any business and the need of information is perceived at various levels of hierarchy. We need not read all of that. It's just 1 mark question and straight away the words are given. Straight away the terms are given. First one you need to write the definition of the word enterprise information system and next one you need to write the categories of business process. Now, what is the need to study? The context given there, some lines given there. This is how many students think, but that is wrong. Always remember, you are not writing your lower class examinations, but you are writing a professional examination. So, the first and foremost thing that you should learn is connect your answer to the question. That is the most important thing. Many people are in a mindset that, sir, let him ask the question. Let him ask in any way. I'll write my answer. I'll find out the keyword in the question and I'll start writing the answer. That is wrong. That's not a professional approach. You should learn how to connect your answer to the question. That is very important. So, here two lines are given. Presently, the flow of information is at an unimaginable high speed for doing any business and the need of information is perceived at various levels of hierarchy. In that context, you have to define what is enterprise information system. Now the thing is how you should start writing the answer. Of course, you can find this definition for the word enterprise information system in our material also. In our material, you have in that lesson, business process automation and risks, you find it as question number 1. As it is there. It is present in the material. Okay. But the problem is, see, you just look at the material once. See, this is the question. Write about EAS. So this is the answer for that question. But the biggest thing is how you start your answer. That is the biggest thing. Here we have given directly write about EAS. So definitely you can start writing your answer from here, isn't it? And you can write up to here. But what should be the opening statement of your answer? That is the most important thing. And the opening statement is determined by the question, not by the answer. What is given in the question? So you should take that opening statement and start writing the answer. That is the professional way of writing the answers. But what I am telling you is, many people are not doing this. Whatever thing may be given, we know the answer. We start writing our own answer. Then what happens? There will be no connectivity between the question that is being asked and the answer you are writing, isn't it? So you should not miss that. That thing you have to learn. Then you can ask me one thing. Sir, why didn't you give that context here? And if you ask me that question, that is not a right question to ask. Because how can we expect the context? I may think in one way, you may think in another way, the examiner may think in another way. So it is not possible to give all the context. And even for that case, we have given one concept question here, assuming one context to help you out. And examiner may give you some more contexts. But what you should learn is connectivity, how to connect your answer to the question. So that gives you good marks. Right, anyway. And second one, categories of business process. There will be 3 types of business processes. From the same lesson, the question is given. This is question number 2. We have 3 categories of business processes: operational processes, supporting processes, and management processes, and you need to write about them. That means you need to write the definitions. What are operating processes? What are supporting processes? What are management processes? Okay. So these all things you need to write. See, in the same line, you please observe here, some lines are given in italics. Because you may get a doubt. Sir, this question is given for 2 marks. Now, how is it possible to write all this content for 2 marks? You need not write. There's some lines are given in italics. Why don't you find it out? If some lines are given in italics means that you need not reproduce in the examination. That is for the sake of your understanding. If you have time and if you remember and if you can remember, that is fine. You read it and you reproduce it. But if you cannot read, if you cannot remember, at least you remember up to the things in the normal font. Okay, that is the flexibility you have in our material. And now let us move on to the next question. What is an operating system? List any 4 activities performed by an operating system. This is in the first lesson. Okay. What is an operating system? List any 4 activities of the operating system. This is question number 12 in our material. 100% coverage is there. And this is definitely a very important question. What is an operating system and what are its activities or functions? And it is a straightforward question. But what I wanted to tell you is, always don't expect this type of questions to be asked. Okay. A straightforward question. Never expect that. Sometimes the same question may be asked in another way. That is why we will give the context question. This is the question. What are the various activities executed by an operating system, or discuss various functions performed by an operating system? This is the question given there. Of course, you need not write all. Here we have given 8 activities. But in the exam, how many are asked? 4 activities are asked. So you need to write at least 4 among these. See, we have given 2 concept questions here. The biggest problem is many students, they simply neglect this. By chance, they have asked directly. Discuss various functions performed by the operating system. But on the other hand, if they ask in this way, the operating system gives personality and character to the computer. It enables a computer user to come to understand how to approach or access a particular platform, whether that platform be Apple Mac or Microsoft Windows, etc. Being a prominent example for system software, it is essentially a collection of software. If in this manner the question is asked, then what you will say? Sir, let him ask in any way. We will simply start writing what is operating system and we write 4 functions. That is what I am telling you. Should not do that. You should always learn the art of connecting your answer to the context given in the question. If the question is directly asked, no problem. You start your answer with writing what is an operating system and its functions. But if the question is asked like this, when a brand new computer comes off the factory or assembly line, it can do nothing. In this way, if the question is asked. So read the question in detail and start your answer with a connectivity point. What is given in the question? That you should learn. Otherwise, even then you get marks. But for example, if I am the examiner evaluating your answer papers, definitely if you write answers in a dry manner means simply ignoring the context given in the question and writing your answer, then my mind will not allow me to give you full marks, to award full marks, isn't it? And that is the case with every examiner also. So that is what you need to learn. Again, here you have one 5 marks question from core banking system. We have one lesson called CBS or core banking system. That means how banks are using softwares, what are the risks that banks will have by using softwares, that you will learn in one lesson. That is core banking system. Now what is the question given here? The main business of banks is lending money to the customers. There are certain inherent risks in lending and they cannot take more than the calculated risks whenever they lend money to their customers. List down the various risks involved and their associated controls in loans and advances process in the banking system. But if you observe here, this question is not there in our material. Why? This is such a lengthy question where you have 2.5 pages answer. Actually, a context it is. It is not a concept. A very big table of 2.5 pages, risks and controls are given. So, we have not made it. But definitely, we are going to give you in the form of supplementary material. Okay. And the next one. And that we will add in the 48th session of material also. Now the next one. This question comes under financial and accounting system. And the beauty of this attempt's question paper, May attempt question paper, is that all are expected questions. All questions. And it is a very easy question paper. Very easy question paper. Obviously, when questions are expected, obviously the question paper turns out to be easy. Okay. So, except that one particular question, all other questions are straightforward, expected, and there are no twists and turns in the questions. Now, even this question is very important. That is there in our guess questions also. And if you can observe, majority, almost all questions, their presence is there in our guess questions. Now, the ERP system is like a human body where there are different units and each unit relate to other units. All the units must work in harmony with other units to generate the desired result. What are the important points of integration of modules with financial and accounting system? I think on first day while I am introducing you to the word system, I also told you about the human system. And I told you, for a system, who is the best example? You. You are the best example for a system. You in the sense, me also. Everyone. All humans. We are the best examples of systems. Because in our human body there is integration, interrelation, interaction and interdependence of components or units. Okay. The same thing is quoted here. What are the important points of integration of modules with finance and accounting system? So, this question is related to ERP. See, today many organizations, they use ERP softwares. And even in our masterminds, we are using ERP software. Okay. Right now, we started using ERP softwares. And what is the greatness of that ERP software? That all things you will come to know in the due course of time. But definitely this is a very important question. See, generally, sir, how you prepare the guess questions? See, preparing guess questions for EIS is somewhat easy. Why? If you follow the news regularly, okay, then preparing guess questions for EIS is relatively easy. Why? Because what is happening outside, many of those things that will be covered in our EIS syllabus. Today there are a lot of cyber attacks, there are ransomware attacks, there are many risks that are being faced by the banks, there are many risks faced by the companies, there are many software attacks. So if you follow them, basing on that, we can to some extent guess, yes, this concept is very important. This may be asked in the next attempt. In that way we can guess. And also guessing this type of question is very easy. That is why we have guessed it and we got it. The reason is, you may use n number of softwares in an organization, but all of them at the end of the day should be connected to the finance and accounting module. Is it a common sense point or not? For example, you may be using HR software in your company. That is fine. But you need to pay salaries to the employees or not? That means that HR data should come to the finance and accounting department or not? Is it a common sense point or it requires some extra knowledge to understand this. Likewise, every organization, every department at the end of the day is connected with the finance and accounting department or not? Is it a common sense point or not? So definitely that is a very important question. In this question also the same thing is asked. You may use n number of softwares in your company, but at the end of the day you need to integrate and connect all those softwares with one module, that is finance and accounting module. And that is very important concept. If you miss that concept, you cannot properly run your organization. So in that way, that is an important question. Because in that, you will learn one very important management principle. That is, you may use any number of softwares, but all of them need to be integrated with the finance and accounting module. Otherwise, that will not be a complete EIS. So in that way, we guessed and we thought that is an important question. Okay, right. Let us see, that is there in our material as question number 28. In which chapter? Financial and accounting systems. Yes, here we have. How integration of modules with financial and accounting system is done in an ERP. Okay, very simple question. You just write these 4 points. See, in what way we have given the concept here? ERP is a modular software designed to integrate an organization's business process into a single system running on a central database. Discuss how integration of modules with finance and accounting system is done in an ERP. This is the context we guessed. And what is the context given in the exam? The ERP system is like a human body where there are different units and each unit relates to other units. All the units must work with harmony, in harmony with other units to generate a desired result. That is the context given in the same question may be asked if you give me some time. If you give me 2 hours of time and ask me to write different contexts for the same question, I can write at least 3 contexts. I don't say that I can write 100 contexts in 3 hours. I cannot write because guessing a context is not so easy. Okay. So, preparing the concept questions, do you think that it is a cakewalk? Preparing, for example, writing this concept question, do you think that it is a cakewalk? It's very easy. If you write it, then you will understand. It takes a lot of time. And another important thing is, I will guess a context and I will write, but I may be mistaken. So it has to be verified by another faculty. While preparing this material, all this process have been taken place. And another faculty finds a mistake in the context, what I have made. And again, he will suggest some corrections. And sometimes I cannot concur with him and he cannot concur with me. We can't agree with each other. Then again we have to consult Prakash sir. These all things takes place and finally the concept questions comes here. What I am telling you is writing concept questions requires lot of effort. And this time especially in theory papers you need to have speed handwriting, and this time in EIS speed handwriting may not be required for the May attempt, but it does not mean that it is not required for the next attempt. Okay, so what you need to keep in mind is you should always practice speed handwriting. Should always practice. And some of you may be writing at jet speed. In a jiffy you may write 1 paragraph, but only you can understand, and sometimes you may not understand. And I have the same problem. Okay, and sometimes I do not understand what I am writing, but write at a faster pace. So you should write fast and at the same time do not lose legibility of your handwriting. That is the most important thing, and that requires practice. Simple fastness don't require any practice. Fastness plus legibility requires practice. Okay, and how do you practice it? I think some techniques are already known to you. Prakash sir told how to improve your speed handwriting or not. Should practice it. And so for some of you, it may seem to be nothing, or for some of you, it may seem to be a joke. What, sir? We are at CA inter-level. Huh? Now you are coming and just asking us to improve the speed handwriting. Okay. You may feel in that way. But once you face the thing, then you will understand everything. You have to face the heat. Okay. Once you face the heat, then you will come to know why people say many things. Until and unless you face the heat of the situation, everything seems to be a joke. Everything seems to be nothing. So anyway, the biggest advantage of analyzing the question papers beforehand, anyway, you will analyze all these question papers before your exam. But before starting the subject, much before the examination, if you analyze the question paper, there will be a lot of chance to correct your preparation, to correct your approach in the beginning itself. For that reason, we are doing all this. If you can learn something from this class, and if you come to a conclusion regarding what things you need to learn and put in practice, and if you put them in practice, that will be a wise thing. Okay? And if you don't learn anything from this class, and if you don't put anything in practice, that is a wise thing. WISE wise, VICE wise. VICE wise means a bad thing. Okay. Right, anyway, come back. Now the next question. Information system risks and controls. For doing business, logical access controls play a critical role in ensuring the access to system, data, programs to safeguard against unauthorized access. Towards this, explain logical access control and user access management controls for technical exposures. There is one lesson called as Information System Risks and Controls in our syllabus. So from that lesson, this question is asked. And actually many students feel that that lesson is a little bit tougher. Information System Risks and Controls. And they spend lot of time in preparing that lesson. But every time we tell to the students not to do that. There are some questions. And if you prepare those set of questions, it is more than enough. Okay. You can find that here, the 15th question. So this is the question. Explain user access management and user responsibilities in logical access controls. Already it is asked in November 18 MTP. But many students, they don't listen what is being taught in the classroom. They listen to other people. They don't want analysis. Okay. So they simply start looking at that lesson and start preparing the questions. No, it is waste of time. There are particular set of questions. If you read them, that is enough. You need not waste time. And this time, it is a very good thing that very easy question is asked. Explain user access management and user responsibilities in logical access controls. This is very, very easy question. You please tell me, for example, if you have a website, do you allow everyone to visit your website? No. First of all, you ask for a user ID and password. Isn't it? Same. The answer to that question is also the same thing. Some security mechanism you need to follow whenever you want to give access to the people to log into your company or to log into your website or to log into your software. The same is the answer there. A very easy question it is. So again we have a concept question here. Identity and access management is the security discipline that enables the right individuals to access the right resources at the right times for the right reasons, and then over time being able to prove it. See, whenever you do something and when you analyze that later, you will get lot of things into your memory. And while preparing this material, many things are green even today in my memory, that there is a lot of discussion behind every question, every concept question. And especially for this question, there is some discussion in Prakash's room regarding this particular question. Because earlier, only 2 lines concept question is given for this. But sir did not agree. He told the concept question should be at least 4 to 5 lines, should be at least 4 to 5 lines in length. The reason is, you have to prepare, only then you will understand and you can write the answers in a better way. And there is a lot of discussion for this question taken place. Like this, you may not understand while I am explaining things in the classroom, but while I am explaining each and every question in the classroom, many things will come into my memory. What happened for this question? What discussion we had for that question? How many times we have changed that question? Okay. You know, for once, I'll show you that sentence. Once we start teaching the lessons, there is one sentence. And it took nearly 3 to 4 hours to simplify that sentence. And if I say that, what you simply say is, that is why, sir, you should learn English. You don't know English, okay, properly, and that is why it took a lot of time for you to simplify that sentence. You give it to us, we will just simplify it and give you within 2 minutes. But it took nearly 3 hours. Because you should not lose the soul of the sentence, but at the same time, that sentence should be simplified. When you simplify, you lose the soul. If you want the soul, you cannot simplify. So, tough situation. Lot of permutations and combination type of sentences we need to write and put before Prakash sir. And again, he will read all those sentences. Select some. And one of the faculty members again may not agree to that. Lot of brain. Have you ever heard the word brainstorming? That happens. Okay. So why I wanted to tell you before is, a soldier should have confidence on the tool he is using. Only then he can wage war in an efficient and effective manner. So what I wanted to tell you is, you have been given a very good tool into your hands. Now it is up to you. Use the tool properly and wage the war and win the war. Okay. You are not given normal tools. You have been given sophisticated, well-researched tools into your hands in the form of materials. So you should learn how to make use of them. That is the most important thing. Of course, you will understand all these things, okay, after you have written the attempt. Fools learn from their own mistakes. Wise people learn from others' mistakes. That is a proverb in English. Now it is up to you to decide. Who are you? Wise men? I hope you are all wise. Huh? Yes. Right. Now the next one. In accounting language, voucher is an evidence for a transaction. How do you interpret voucher when referred to a computer? Also explain any 3 types of vouchers pertaining to accounting. Definitely we guess this question to be given in the examination, because it is related to you. Then how can it be not given in the examination? So there are chances. That's why we guessed, and it is there in the guess questions. And also it is there in our material. In the form of a table it will be there. Okay. In the same lesson, finance and accounting systems. Yes, here we have. This is the question. Already given in November 18 MTP 2 for 5 marks. See, if you follow all these references which are given there in the material, you can prepare a question paper on your own, and from that at least you can get 30 to 40% of questions. That possibility is there, and that is why we proudly say Yes, we proudly say, we never feel anything bad in saying that Masterminds material is a one-stop solution. Of course, we can make statements, but we should stand by that. That is the most important thing. We are not simply making bold statements. We have a lot of confidence in making that statement. Because we worked hard, we know how we worked. Why I am telling you this? Generally, expecting this type of question to be given in the examination is not an simple thing. And again, you observe this, we have given it for self-study. That means that is not being taught in the classroom, but still we have given it in the guest questions and it is given in the final examination. And for you students, many of you, what you do is, it is a self-study question, Ra. That's why you need not prepare. Be careful. We have given it for self-study means, what does it mean? You can read by yourself. Does it mean that it is not important? Sometimes very important questions are given for self-study. That does not mean self-study will not decide the importance of the question. Self-study decides whether it need to be taught in the classroom or not, that's all. We may not teach some questions in the classroom. That does not mean that they are not important and they are not asked in the examination. Of course, some of you know all these points, or all of you may know these points, but there is nothing wrong. For important things, even in Shastras also they say Punarukti dosha. Punarukti dosha means telling the same thing, reiterating the same thing again and again and again. There is nothing wrong in that, because that is the fact, and fact needs to be reiterated. Okay, so you try to understand what I am telling you. So generally it is very hard to guess this question to be given in the examination, because if you look at this question, what is there in this question? Students already know this: contra, accounting, payment vouchers, receipt vouchers, journals. From CA Foundation they are learning all these things. Then we may simply skip this question from giving in the guess questions. But we have given that in the guess question. So you just try to understand what I am trying to understand. What I am trying to tell you is, once you tell one brand name, for example, if I say Tata, if a product is released by Tata, do you have confidence in it or not? Do you have trust in it or not? The same thing I am telling about our material also. Trust it. Trust the guess questions. Trust the material. Because nothing is made very easily. Okay. Out of lot of efforts, endeavors, we brought the things before you. Okay. And now it is up to you whether you use it or not. Okay. Use it or lose it. Simple logic. Use it or lose it. If you use it, you will win. Okay. Now the next one, ERM, very important topic. Anything that is related to ERM is very important. Enterprise risk management. And how we will guess this? Anything related to ERM is very important. How can we guess? This is very simple. Today, all companies, they are appointing risk assessment and risk management professionals. And risk management has become such a wonderful opportunity today. So in that case, risk management definitely becomes the most important thing. In that way, we guess. And definitely, anything related to ERM, or at least one question related to ERM, comes in the examination. Why? I don't know about other subjects, but I am just telling you how we guess in the subject of EIS. Because that is happening in the real world today. Every company is appointing ERM professionals. So definitely, institute expects you to know about that, isn't it? So definitely they will test whether you have studied it or not. Isn't it? So in that way the question comes, ERM. That is the beauty of EIS subject. This is not something historical. Everything that is happening in and around us, That will be discussed in the subject. So this is a very important question, ERM. What is asked? Explain any 6 components of ERM framework. That means if you want to have ERM in your organization, what things are required? That we will study. Once you come to that point, you will study. So 100% question is there. It is present in our guest questions. It is present in our material also. And the next question, e-commerce. Everyone will expect a question from e-commerce. E-commerce and digital payments. These are the 2 concepts. And everyone expects a question from that. Because we are in the world of e-commerce today. So how can you expect a question paper without a question related to e-commerce? Definitely a question will be there. But what is asked? Define 3-tier architecture and its advantages. Okay. This is a question that is being asked. That 3-tier architecture is a very easy question that you find in e-commerce and m-commerce lesson. Right. Now the next question, core banking system. See how much of context is given here. Banking is a backbone of a country's economy, which keeps the wheels of economy running. The changes in the banking scenario due to moving over to core banking system and IT-based operations have enabled banks to reach customers and facilitate seamless transactions with lesser dependence on physical infrastructure. In this context, write down characteristics of core banking system. This is question number 2 in the lesson. Let us move. What context we have given? That is the thing you need to understand. This is question number 2. I think this is somewhat context which is near to the context asked in the examination. Okay. So this is the context we have given. We have given 2 concept questions for this. And the context asked in the exam is this one. Banking is the backbone of a country's economy. I think we have given this for the first question. Yes. Banking is the engine of economic growth, specifically in a rapidly developing country like India. We have given that context, a similar context for first question. So in this way, what you should understand, if you understand one simple sentence, one simple thing, then the purpose of this class will be served. That is, while you are preparing the subject of EIS, you should give equal importance to questions as you give importance to answers. What do you mean by that? What are the characteristics of core banking system? Reading that question and preparing the answer, it is a wrong thing. First, try to understand all the contexts. In how many contexts the question may be asked. Then start preparing the answer. Only that will give you good results in the examination. If you can understand that, the purpose is served. And if you don't understand anything and simply start reading in a blind way, don't know how to use the material. Lot of things are there in the material, but don't know how to use them. Simply read answer and try to reproduce everything. That is wrong. You need not reproduce everything. In our material, something will be underlined. I think you know that. And especially in the subject of EIS, you have to definitely write down the things which are underlined. Right, anyway. Now the next question is again from the lesson e-commerce and m-commerce about mobile apps. Is this a question which can be easily guessed or not? In this context, explain any 4 modules in mobile websites. Okay. Of course, it is relatively a new question added. The modules in the website. Let us check out. So this is the question. What are the components of e-commerce? In this question, some points are there. That means this is not a direct question. Okay. This is an indirect question which requires your understanding to answer. Next one. Emerging technologies. 2 definitions are asked. Smart city and how IoT can be used in healthcare. Okay. These are the 2 things. Today we have IoT everywhere. Internet of Things. Today we have IoT enabled fans, IoT enabled phones, IoT enabled shoes, IoT enabled pressure cookers, IoT enabled washing machines. What do you mean by that? You can operate all these gadgets from your phone. You can operate your cooker from your phone. You can operate your washing machine from your phone. Okay. So once you can operate, hacker can also operate. That you should understand. If you can operate over phone, then anyone can operate over the phone. Okay. Recently what happened in New York? One lady, she is using a smart lock, an IoT enabled lock for her home. And some hackers hacked that lock and sent a message to the lady telling that you need to pay a Bitcoin to open your door. And if that is a normal Godrej lock, no problem. And that was the first IoT based complaint in the world, which happened some 6 months ago. And today, lot of IoT based complaints. Sir, my shoes are hacked. Shoes are hacked means what? Okay, you have already worn the shoes. Okay, you are wearing the shoes, but you cannot remove the shoe. The shoe is locked. It is an IoT one. And they are hacked by someone. The days are very near. These all things will come. That is IoT. And that IoT is used in smart cities, healthcare. See, every technology has its pros and cons, isn't it? Yes. So that is the last question in the question paper. And again, that is there in our material, and in guest questions also it is there. So finally, what you should understand, actually this paper is a very easy paper. And basing on this paper, you should not come to a conclusion that EAS can be handled very easily. No. If you come to that conclusion, it is a wrong conclusion. This time paper is good, and also let us wish that paper for your attempt also should be good, should be easy. That is the first wish. And second thing is you need to be very careful. And the third thing is learn to use Masterminds material properly. Learn to use means what is there, sir? What is there to learn? Lot of things are there to learn. For that reason only we will give highlights of the material in the beginning of the material. I think you will never find time to read that. You will never find time. Okay. So first of all, you should be acquainted with the different sections of the material that we are giving. Okay. See, simply giving and copy pasting the questions is very easy. But categorization takes a lot of time, lot of money, lot of effort. Okay. So you please understand all those things and prepare well. And I think this is a good start, because before starting the first lesson, we made a question paper analysis. And those of you who have heard attentively, definitely it will help. And those of you who have not heard attentively, some are there who have not heard attentively. I have seen them attentively. So for those people who will tell the solution, who will show the path, time will show the path.